Hey guys, what's up? We're playing $3 spin and go. Pretty quick heads up, we're against the Cook. We're playing on 17 big blinds. So let's go straight to the action. So as you can see, looking at the HUD of our opponent, he was not folding pre-flop to min raises, but post-flop he folded 2 out of 3. So definitely worth c-betting and basically winning pots without the showdown. Okay, obviously against a raise we can't do much. The great value in c-betting is because, especially with small sizing, we don't need to win it every single time. Because when I bet 40 to pot 120, from the math perspective I am risking 40 to win a pot of 160. So basically my opponent needs to fold only 25% of the time. So this is why c-bet is great. Okay, so my opponent checked the flop, checked the turn, and now I hit the pair on the river. So worth betting. Especially that I believe better pairs my opponent would bet. So when I bet, there's a chance he will call me with some king highs, queen highs, and right now this is pretty weird. He checked the flop and I think he would bet a queen. He checked the turn and I think he would bet an ace. And the raise on river isn't too big, so I think we can call with our pair. Interesting his slow playing. So worth noting and making notes on such an opponent that he slow plays SP. This is totally enough for me. Check back top per turn and raise river. So these small informations will give you huge edge in future, because this is pretty common. If you play a lot, you will play with the same opponents, and with information that this guy is capable of plays like check the turn with topper and then bluff and then raise on the river, you can adjust and basically play differently against such an opponent. Even on 6 big blinds, we still shouldn't fold hand like 3-6 or deuce 3. It's totally okay to call, because big blind isn't players on big blind aren't too aggressive, and again we don't need to win that frequently to make our play profitable. As you saw, with 3-6 I took down the pot. I don't need a super great hand. Pocket queens were pretty shallow, so limping is definitely okay. Way more often he will check with low cards, and on the board like this, deuce 3-6, it perfectly hits all these cards that he could fold against my min raise. So like jack 5, jack 3, 10-3, 10 deuce, and so on and so on. So basically great board to bet and wait for an action. He calls. So I think with 6 he would raise. So if he just flat calls, it totally looks like a deuce, 3, 4 or 5. So on the turn I don't want him to fold these cards, so I will bet small. I think 50 or even 45. This is the sizing, this is which is perfect. Unfortunately he folded, not a big deal. Jack 4 definitely not folding. There are no reasons to fold any hands. So far we limped 3 times and he only isolated once, so no reason to limp. With second pair I will check as there are plenty of low cards in my opponent's checking range. Oh, this is interesting. So the straight came to the board, so it doesn't matter what we do. Sometimes non-concentrated players might fold the straight, but this is not that frequent. So on 6 big blinds, obviously calling with a king, losing a flip, but you shouldn't be worried about it, because this situations happens and it will happen pretty often. Playing heads ups, spin and goes, and hyper turbos on shallow stacks. This is a game of small edges. You achieve 3, 5, sometimes 10% ROI. So basically, in long run, it's totally enough if you stack off pre-flop while having 55 or 60% of equity. So you will lose pre-flop 40% of the time, so pretty frequently. So you shouldn't be concerned about it. This is how hyper turbos look like. So if you're mad about losing flips, you need to change your mindset, or this game will be very tough for you. So I raised the flop with top pair, and now, as my top pair is pretty small, I want my opponent to call some overcards, because he just called the flop. I think he has plenty of overcards. So betting 1/3 of a pot to let him call something is okay. Pocket pair, sevens, just moving with it. And you know, in spot like this, we were flipping pre-flop, and this is totally standard. These flips these are unavoidable part of this game. So you should be like totally okay with that. Yeah, I'll flip, sometimes I win, sometimes he wins, but it doesn't really matter. Like, what matters is, in long run, your opponent who raise and call all in with king 9 will lose a lot of money, because sometimes you have sevens and you're flipping. Not a big deal, but pretty often you'll have ace high, like ace king, ace jack, ace queen, or pocket nines, pocket tens, and he will be dominated. So this is the most important thing. Sometimes you'll flip, sometimes you'll be ahead, and it's all matter of long run. Betting gut shot, but no action. So pretty interesting. This guy previously 3x'd king 9, and now he min raised. I really wonder what hand he has. This is important to observe the game and see the sizings and the differences. So he was 3xing, he showed king 9, so now he min raises ace 5. So it looks like he's increasing the sizing with better cards, like probably king 9, broadways, or high pocket pairs, and just min raising with some marginal cards. Okay, my opponent, this guy checked, and we have second pair, so why not go for a bet? Just 40%, as I want them to call with some random overcards. If I bet too big, I think they will fold pretty often. And button just limped pre-flop, so I don't think he has many aces. So I think my 6 is still okay. So betting again, as if he only calls the flop, I don't think he has a queen. Pretty often it's a flush draw, gut shot, and so on. I will check, as there are plenty of misdraws. I will give him a chance to bet with some misdraw, but he didn't. So pretty passive guy. So this is very useful information, that this guy just gave up missed draw 8 high. So basically this guy is not bluffing rivers. So whenever there's a missed draw and you think he would bet it, he won't. So he's pretty passive and pretty straightforward. You can easily we can easily not mark him as a passive fish. Mean betting. So we have some backdoors, backdoor straight draw for wheel, backdoor straight draw for Broadway, and overcard. So worth calling. But on the turn, I'm totally okay with folding, especially that in two hands, a few hands before. Not sure if you noted it. He was playing the same line. He dunk betted. He went for a mean bet on the turn and then again on the river, and he showed up with a top pair. So basically, it looks like this guy is dunk betting with top pair and some strong holdings. Pretty interesting situation right now. We face a pretty big bet, so I will just call as I am in position, and as I am in position, I can control the pot. I can give him a chance to bet again on turn. And if not, if he skip the bet on the turn, I can easily go for a bet by myself. Pretty small bet as I'm not afraid of anything, but I want him to call with some ace highs, gut shots, and so on. Pretty bad card, but still limping from small blind, as we're playing against pretty passive opponent. So against these, we can just bet once and then give up. He bets, I'm totally okay with folding. Okay, let's see the action. So again, as you can see on HUD, this guy is. This is not the HUD I should use. Actually, this is the HUD, which is no, not this. Min raise. You should call min raises. This is a HUD. Oh yeah, I should use. This is a free HUD which you can get from spin&go. More info in description. So again, pretty similar situation where small blind just gave up, and we have a pair. So I'm totally okay with value betting button, who is playing every single card. As you saw, from the button he was limping all these cards. 5 big blinds, so just moving all in with weak ace, definitely. And from time to time you will see that your opponent calls you with better cards, but the profit from moving all in with suited connectors or weak cards or something like that comes from them folding most of the time, because we have 60 chips in the pot. So when we move all in here, we earn so much money out of we earn so much money without the showdown, that even if sometimes he calls us with better hand, we still have 30% of the whole pot. And it is so rare that this fold equity pre-flop makes us makes this all-in profitable. Okay, we raised, we got a gut shot, although the board is pretty problematic, as if we bet, we don't fold any hand that we beat, that beats us, because 10 high has open-ender, jack, king, queen, everything is calling. Okay, pretty interesting, we hit the straight, and my opponent just called pre-flop, so I'm not afraid he has an ace, but I still need to bet very small to make him call with a queen or jack. The same on the river. Min betting or betting 50 is totally okay. Min better is min betting. Pretty quick call by big blind. and whoa, all in from small blind. He didn't do it so far, so probably this has to be pretty strong card. So small blind moves all in, and we only need to put additional 100 chips. As you can see, our pot odds are pretty nice. We only need to win 32%. So I am moving all in to not let button call and basically see the flop. As button plays almost every single card, like HUD will update after this hand, he plays 80% of his cards. So I don't want him to see the flop with a chip with such a great price. So that's why I'm moving all in, isolating with this Jack 10. Pocket force, just simple all in. And actually here, probably it would be still okay to even move all in as this guy on the bottom plays almost every single hand. But I will play just check, as this guy is pretty passive. He's not c-betting. So we'll see turns and river for free pretty often. Okay, we've got a gut shot, so definitely calling. And we hit a pair. I will check to let him bet again. So he did. And here when when the stack size, effective stack size, is close to pot size bet, we can just move all in with our top pair. And he calls us with open ender, and good guys held. Blinds are pretty high. So now below 8 big blinds, it's mainly about moving all in and folding. And this is moment where it's all about not making mistakes. It's not about having some super strategies and I don't know, magic skills. No, it's about playing 1,000 of hands, or 1,000 of tournaments, or 10,000 of tournaments, and not making mistakes of I don't know, misclicking or doing some filling calls or not tilting and tilt shoving. This is where from the edge comes, because I won't tilt, I won't do any kind of spazzy move that I move all in with deuce free. 7 big blinds, 10 deuce suited. We're so shallow that definitely folding is okay. Ace king, just moving all in. We're pretty shallow. Moving all in on 8 BBs is definitely okay, as my opponent will call me with many worse cards. So small blind called. Let's see the flop. He moved all in, so with weak flush draw, I have nothing to do here. Patient. This is what you need. And here on 6 blinds, this is very important. Limping 3-7. We shouldn't fold any hand, and this is big mistake that people pretty often do. As you can see, I limped, then I can easily check and see 4 cards. Here, pretty not too good spot for us. Even though we have pair plus gut shot, his bet shows us that he has something. So I will just fold. Especially that right now, if we want to limp, we have such a great odds. We need to win the hand only 25% of the time. Suited cards below 8 big blinds are the best if you just move all in with them. And just being patient. Not tilting, no problems. Off suited card, just limp, see the flop, and just click 1 BB. Simple as that. You earn money without the showdown. King X, below 10 big blinds, definitely moving all in. So these spots aren't that important. Even though stacks are shallow, this is not something super important. We miss, we fold. no problem. Ace queen might be a min raise, and calling. So this is just a cooler, like we would play, I would play the same like him. So this hand isn't like super important. Yeah. So right now you need to run another and another spin, and basically playing hyper games, it's about mistakes of your opponent. So the more you play, the more solid you are, the more you will win. So basically, yeah, play 100 spins a day, and sooner or later you will reach higher stakes, as you also learn by playing, you learn in game. Thank you very much guys, and good luck at the tables.